Welcome guys, in this video we're going to talk about dynamically typed variables. Okay, so these are very interesting because the system recognizes the type at runtime. It's called resolution of the type. Okay, so the type is resolved at runtime. So think of Visual Studio, make a templated project as before. Alright, let me paste this down below. And the keyword here is dynamic. Let's walk through this code. So dynamic like this, x equals and welcome. Okay, so the system is smart enough to be able to recognize the fact that a string is on the right side, so at runtime it will resolve x to string. Okay, so then we can print it. So console.writeLine say x, close with a semicolon. Now we can just take x and set a number on the right side like this, you see? Now the system will be smart enough to change the data type of x from string to integer. Okay, so it's very smart. Console.writeLine, and then assuming I remember how to spell writeLine, x, close that with a semicolon. There you go, and now we'll take x and set it equal to some other number like this. Okay, so now the system should recognize that a decimal type has been assigned and resolve the type correctly. So let's take a look. Console.writeLine and then x and close that with a semicolon like that. Okay. So let me delete this code that I have for reference. So take a look. A single variable x first is a string, then it should be an integer, then it should be a decimal. It could be a double and boolean and so on. So let's go through this now. Debug and step into. And that will allow us to see that in action very vividly. Take a look. Look inside the locals window. And as you can see, the type of x is dynamic and its value is null. You see that? Alright, so there's a default value and of course there's a type, dynamic. Okay. Now take a look. After this step, that type has been more specifically resolved to string. You can see that within the curly braces. Alright, then we will print that. Okay, then take a look. At the next step, that type has been resolved to an integer now by the system, you see? And then we can print it. And now the next step has been resolved to a decimal, as you can see here. And remember in the locals window, if you double click the value, it's going to show you a big M like that. You see, attached the number to indicate that it's a decimal. Okay, without the M, it would be a double, like that. And then you can print that also. There you go. So the benefit of this type is that, as you can see, you can have a single variable like x and it can take on different types the way I've shown you here, and the system's smart enough to be able to resolve those and still not for the application to crash and so on. Okay, so now you know about a new data type, dynamic, and that is it. So thanks very much, and I'll see you in another video.